They completely lost it over this. Elon Musk keeps exposing the swamp, and the left, along with its propaganda outlets, are freaking out. His takedown of USAID has sent them all into a full meltdown. But what exactly was uncovered, and why are they scrambling to break DOGE? It's simple. When the truth gets too uncomfortable, they resort to smears and distractions. And today we're breaking down what was found and what Musk's endgame was and what it might be as he keeps pushing back against the establishment. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
The headquarters of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, was closed to personnel on Monday, sending shockwaves around the world.
I have suspicions about what we're seeing here early on, and increasingly, they are justified. Now, that list I just told you, the high alert list that the GAO does, do you know what's not on that priority list? USAID.
Well, I admire the great private sector stuff he's done. You know, SpaceX, Tesla, both amazing companies. I think in the case of USAID, he doesn't appreciate the phenomenal work that goes on.
The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, which both sides rely on for government research, has a high alert list of programs and areas that need to be checked. AID is not even in the top 10. It's not even close. I can't think of a reason to be against efficiency efforts, but why start with USAID?
Well, you can take the Cuomo out of CNN, but you can't take the CNN out of Cuomo. Are you ready to find out why DOGE started with USAID? Well, it's because they refused to comply with Trump's executive order of halting new foreign aid spending. And it was not Elon who uncovered it first, but rather Pete Morocco, who, according to Politico, was running the agency from the State Department and, quote, discovered that it recently made a $353 million in payments for a range of expenses. After questioning USAID officials on it and being unsatisfied with their answers, Morocco arrived at their headquarters with more than a dozen people who are mostly believed to be DOGE employees, and the rest is history. But what exactly was found in that spending? Here's Caroline Leavitt and Senator Kennedy sharing some of it.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland.
Gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan.
And the list goes on and on and on. Despite seeing this, lawmakers on the left decided to engage in activism, protesting the agency's shutdown and making outlandish claims about Trump and Musk. I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but I can't help but question, why would anyone protest corruption being exposed? It is also hilarious how a group of fresh graduates who are using AI, one of them named Big Balls, that's my guy, have caused this much disruption in the deep state's operations. And then there's this claim that Musk wasn't elected by the people and thus he doesn't have a right to carry out such actions, which is a claim that got perfectly dismantled by Senator Kennedy. And just a side note, who elected Jill Biden?
And many of my colleagues are upset. They're really mad at Mr. Musk. Hell, I think we ought to give him a medal. All he's doing is what President Trump said he was going to do. President Trump said he's going to audit the spending. So Trump goes and hires Musk, again with the top secret security clearance. Nobody can quibble with his intelligence. The guy's as smart as Einstein's cousin. He's a very successful businessman. Some say he's the richest guy in the world. And he's doing the auditing. And, man, he's finding a lot of stuff. I call it spending porn.
Exactly. Instead of being outraged over the absurd way taxpayer money is being wasted, Democrats are suddenly pretending to care about privacy concerns, desperately trying to change the subject. Drop a like if you agree it is nothing but a deflection tactic at this point. And then there's this bizarre obsession with Elon Musk. They act like he's some rogue actor, conveniently ignoring that he's been entrusted with America's most advanced space technology, one that ensures U.S. dominance in exploration of space. The funniest part is their whole argument about no one on DOGE being elected, which completely falls apart when you apply the same logic to the unelected bureaucrats at USAID. Sure, Congress may allocate funds to the agency, but there's clearly zero meaningful oversight on how that money is spent. Representative Mace also had a message to her lefty counterparts, and needless to say, she didn't hold back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's been a lot of pearl clutching over the last several days from my colleagues across the aisle on Donald Trump, Secretary Rubio, the Department of Government Efficiency's plan to reorganize the U.S. Agency for International Development, or as we all now know, USAID. They're screaming about Elon Musk over there, but hey, George Soros and his boy are okay. They scream that we're all a threat to democracy when they've been systematically dismantling democracy before our eyes. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And there's no going back. So I would tell my colleagues across the other side of the aisle, take your salty tears and sit right back down.
And just to give you an idea of how badly mismanaged this agency was, let me give you some of its previous scandals. In 2013, a former deputy director at a private contractor that did business with the USAID was sentenced 51 months in prison for the embezzlement of more than $1 million from a program meant to address global health problems. Last year, it was discovered that grain donated to feed Ethiopians, quote, was being diverted across the country in a systematic way and on an industrial level. This was in collaboration with the World Food Program, and they admitted it was being stolen. I could go for hours, but you get the point. So what's Elon's end goal with DOGE? Well, here's a clip of him laying out his reasoning as he went on the Joe Rogan Experience, and it was released just a day before last year's elections.
We have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would if that overspends. But it's even worse than that. Like we're spending money on all these government agencies, and I actually asked the AI like how many government agencies are there, and the government isn't even sure how many government agencies there are. So it's like somewhere around 450, depending on what you call an agency. So they're at the federal level. So that's almost twice as many agencies as years that America has existed. So we're creating agencies at roughly 2 agencies a year.
Wow.
Yes. So this is insane.
Quick, someone send this to Chris Cuomo so he understands that USAID was the first step in the journey of 450 miles, or whatever the number of these agencies is. Trump said he'll instruct Elon to go to the Department of Education next. There are also indications that the Department of Defense might join the list as well, and that should be a fun one, especially considering it hasn't passed a successful audit in years. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you want your friends to get their coverage from independent sources like us, please share the video with them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.